I'm going now.
Okay.
Right, so Kyla, we're going to get straight into it, aren't we? Like,
Yeah.
what? Give me some of your ideas or noticings as to why there is so much silence.
Well, I think about myself, I think I didn't used to speak out in the way that I am now
Mm,
because I didn't know certain stuff like to that depth.
yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons. I don't think a lot of people actually know. I
yeah,
think obviously they know things are fucked and that, and it's dangerous out there. They're scared for the kids, but they don't know the ins and outs like of whys and whats and whos are all like that yet. Most of them.
yeah,
So, so therefore, where do they start to talk about it when you haven't got any reference points? When all you've been doing is like working or studying or chilling with friends. I just don't think many people have got certain reference points yet. I think that's one of the reasons why they're not talking. And then in terms of like people what like think say they're in the know, like say for instance spiritual healers or different
mm,
influencers. Um, I think like I said earlier, the main ones are handled and only allowed to talk to a certain place. And then I think the followers are just doing their best to try and do something positive and
mm.
follow it, just like I were with that spiritual like leader and others. And you just think, well, I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing something positive, and that's about it. But I do think that these like I don't even know, like they're like master deceivers, and I
Yeah,
think they place it's right deep really, but I think they place programs over us that we don't even realize is being put over us like a grid, and
yeah,
then you're behaving in a certain way, talking in a certain way, you're only going so far. And so on. That's why you've got to have your critical thinking. And as soon
mm,
as I did my critical thinking with that, when I got banned, when I got silenced from that group, I got silenced straight away. So I think the ones following the um handled leaders, whether
mm,
it's celebs or whoever,
mm.
I just don't think they know yet. I don't think a lot of people have gone as deep as us not to even
Yeah,
know from talking to them.
yeah. That's how I feel, and that's always been a shock because there was a part of me
Yeah,
that assumed, part of my
yeah,
programming was to assume that other people were further ahead.
yeah. You said
I
that
mean,
years ago, didn't you? A few years ago.
yeah, like I'm assuming that others know more. In fact, I'll just put it like this. There's a couple of things I want to say actually. First of all, it's like the silent treatment that you received, and I received it as well from knowing other people that from 2020 that also said they were awake, as into the killer
Yeah.
plague story, and felt like, from childhood, they'd known something was wrong. They were waiting for this time. Well, that's how I felt. I was waiting for a time that there was a possibility that it was going to go, turn upside down, inside out. But when you get silence the way you did, and me too, the way I got silenced, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, good. My for some reason my screen went weird. Uh,
Yeah,
it's worth saying it really fucking hurts. It's frightening to be silenced. It really hurts. It feels really dangerous. I mean, this is the
yeah,
sort of the seriousness of what I want to bring out all the time is it feels terrifying to be silenced because then you start to realize, oh my God, it really is going to be up to us, the so-called nobodies on
yeah,
the planet, to keep pushing and insisting that we share our voices with one another and keep speaking out because I mean, I know a lot of people have felt like this recently. There's not only being silenced, but if you have had the temerity to call out someone that's on the stage and say, hey, I'm not so sure
mm,
I feel the same as you, and why can't we speak about it? then there's a little sort of thing that happens where people start gunning for you against you because
Yeah,
you had the cheek to
yeah.
speak out
All
when,
the followers of that person,
yeah, and yet
which
people are
sometimes can be
claiming,
millions.
yeah, and
Right.
yet people are claiming not to be following people.
Yeah.
They're going like, oh, I'm a sovereign being and I'm totally awake, but my mummy or my daddy says that, so you need to shush because the
Yeah.
mum or the dad over there
Oh
knows
God. Yeah.
you, and it feels like that kind of programming, doesn't it? And then
It is.
they go after you like a sort of, what's it called? Well, it's like an intimidation sort of technique, and
Yeah, they come bullies like that.
yeah,
These what say that they do all this spiritual stuff. I mean, oh my God, the hate that spews out of them is,
yeah,
like they call people what don't research normies. I mean, I
yeah,
don't like to call them that because I don't think
oh,
that about them, but
yeah,
they call them that. And I'm not being funny, but most of the internalized hate I've seen is actually from these people what have took on these beliefs of spirituality or whatever it is, like this online spirituality, these books and these healing and I'm all healed. The hate that they're not letting out and internalizing is crazy. It's much worse than, I mean, I'm actually from ends as well, as in, rough area with everything on it, just that type of thing. And I've never experienced it as bad as from them types of people. I don't know it's that grid that they've had placed over them. I think from obviously my experience of being in it as well, I think you just can't see anything. You can't see anything other than what they're saying,
yeah.
and you
Like you
become
said,
like you fight for them. And even I once fighting for Teal. I've met her once. I've met her in person, but I have, but I haven't spoke to her. But like even I was fighting for at one point about something that kicked off with in a like what were going off with her stuff work that she was doing. And I found myself sticking up for her because I felt, obviously you feel a affinity for him and you're like, well, I'm going to say something because I believe this is right. But
yeah,
now I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I was right
yeah, and
when I stood up for her.
it's like the themes sort of in that, like, because I've looked at all that stuff within myself because I have a very loyal and devoted nature, and
Yeah.
I fight for the underdog. So it's like, is that a programming? Because, like you said, it's like if I see someone being attacked or denigrated, I want to fight for them. Like you just said, I want to stick up for them. And now the last 3 years has shown me that's almost pointless now with,
Mm.
well, certainly with certain people because they've already got all the power. They've already got all the power, and
Yeah.
for sure they're being handled and controlled, and they're
No,
probably deeply traumatized themselves.
yeah.
But I'm so desperate for more of ours like this.
Me too.
Be talking together to root through all the crapola of it all.
I wish too. I don't know how it's going to happen because the fear grids what are on people just stops them from talking to each other, and like it's all one big in any capacity, any business, all relationships, everything. It's like
Yeah.
because everyone's been so traumatized by their upbringings, one way or another, and
Yeah.
in life, everyone's so hurt. So
Yeah.
and even if they don't look it,
Yeah.
and even if they said they're not,
Yeah.
and then because of the cult that we live in, we exist in. That's why that everything what's hurting them is this cult that we live in, and then some of the choices that we make what make the pain worse and continue. But like, yeah, I don't know because of that. So because they're so hurt, every time you try and talk about how they take it as this indefinite. I mean, the ones what are worse for this is the spiritual community. They are so like they're so fragile. I've been like deleted and blocked by quite an handful of them.
Yeah.
And I barely said, oh, I didn't say, oh, a lot of time all you're doing is saying no. And they're, that's it. They're like that. And it's like, it's just not, I don't
Yeah.
even know. I don't even know what to say. But basically, I feel like because everyone's so hurt, as soon
Yeah.
as you talk about how they think that you're making it about them and you're attacking them. So it's hard to talk to people about, oh,
Yeah.
or about their religion or about their beliefs or all these separate things. And when we're trying to talk about foundational issues, which is right at the core, whether it's, you know, housing, water, or life, whatever it is, they bring it into one of those beliefs and shut you out. That's why it's hard.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
makes sense.
yes, it really makes sense. And I mean, it's like, I feel within, and I feel like you feel the same in terms of the passion factor of like, do everything I can to meet my inner urges. And one of my inner urges obviously is to speak out.
Mm.
And I never expected to have to do that. And I never wanted to. And I also don't enjoy it. But I feel it's a necessity and I feel it is a calling. And I feel we should, sorry to sound like a bit prescriptive, but we should be able to speak in everyday language about what's going on. We should be able to hold space with each other and root through all this stuff. I do feel hopeful. I do feel hopeful that if that is what we want so badly, we will
Yeah,
see it. And because,
yeah.
like you said, it's like, because we've all been wounded, injured, traumatized by being born into captivity. And I always see it like that. Like it's like your lions and tigers waking up in a zoo, and you realize that you've had a tranquilizer gun and that your food in your bowl has been full of like, oh, you know, tranquilizers, etc. So that you don't feel that, you know, this can't go on. I think you're right. It's like we've all, whether it's conscious or whether it's been done to us or we did it ourselves, it doesn't matter really.
Mm.
It does really feel like we are hurting. Why can't we say that? Why can't we say that?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Say it.
It's a
Why
little,
can't we say it? It's not okay here. This,
and that's because, like, even with obviously the spiritual community, you know that they've been given this slogan which says,
yeah,
well, if you say that, you're playing on the victim mentality. And
yeah,
like they've been delivered the film The Secret in '90s, and now they've took that in, and then they now believe that everything on there is the totality of life, and that's the only way. Obviously that has got some truths in it, but one of the things that they taught them through that film, through one of the sort of like spiritual community films that was provided to him, it
mm,
taught him that, you know, you all about this manifestation and doing it, conscious manifestation or whatever, and abundance
yeah,
and all this stuff. And if you took, so therefore they took it as, people ran with it and took it as, well, if you talk about negative, you're going to bring more of that. If you talk about more positive, you're going to bring more of that. Same as other books what have been out over decades,
yeah,
like that Napoleon one as well, and so on, different ones. So now people have run with it to the too far to one side,
yeah,
and now they come up, people like us, like I would call myself a survivor, like
mhm,
people use that term. I'm not I don't get, have a big meltdown about words that much. It's just like, end of the day, I've survived a lot of shit, a lot of people have, so I'll
yeah,
just use it. Like, I'm not going to get too attached to that word. People get funny about words, so anyway, just use it. So I am a victim, and
yeah.
the other opposite is victor, and I'm victorious in a lot of ways as well. I'm both.
Yeah,
So
I like
yeah,
that, Kyla.
yeah,
Let's really honor that for a moment. I mean, that is, to me, that is the crucial bit. We have to be
yeah.
able to say without shame, we have been victims. We have been victimized.
Definitely, we can't acknowledge, like, if we can't even, why can't they acknowledge it? What, that's my question.
Yeah. Then that must be to do with some programming because like
Yeah,
you
what's wrong
detailed
with it?
you detailed all that programming to perfection, Kyla. And it's being marketed as spiritual. Here's your spiritual. It's a
Yeah, it's been
program so
delivered
that
to
you
them.
don't notice.
Yeah, it's so subtle, and you can't even tell it's
Yeah.
happened. That's how
Yeah.
you know. And I wrote about that other day on Facebook. I forgot what I said now. But yeah, when you in a cult, as in the global cult,
Yeah,
that
a
we're all
planetary
still
cult.
in. Whether you've,
Planetary cult, yeah.
yeah, planetary cult. Yeah, when you, what am I going to say about that? Oh yeah, when sometimes if it's that good, if they're that good, you don't know you're in it. You don't know you're in a cult. And I've only just clicked on now because I've been going through the mud in different ways now that I'm older, in different types of, same as you. You've been going through new stuff, different to what you were going through when you were little, and we haven't really stopped, have we? So
No.
we've kept asking for truth, so that's why it keeps getting delivered and shown to us in. And that is the truth, it does. But I don't have none of these sort of in that, what are following that stuff tell me. I mean, they don't approach me much now because I've told them all straight, very authentically over the last 3 years, and they don't approach me much.
Yeah.
I've told them, and I haven't backed down, and I've just, I'm not being horrible to them, but I've told them straight. So,
Yeah.
but
You're
they do,
here for truth. You're not here for bypass.
yeah, and
Truth.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, when the cult's that good, you don't know you're in it.
Yeah.
Now that is a new revelation for me that is very recent. What it's really like, obviously we all heard about cults and that, but it's only just really hit me because I think that's another thing with why people are silent is because things hit you down the line. Something can happen to you as a kid and it hits you when you're 50.
Yeah.
You don't have respect for that time gap, time in middle. So everyone's like, oh, I'm fully done, I'm completed, I'm healed, and everything's good.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, kids are still getting trafficked around and adults in lorries.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like,
I
so
don't get it.
I don't have none of them saying that I can't say that I've been a victim or I'm a victim because what it is with them, our like that type of atmosphere is how I bring it to a close is you're not going to step on my free will. Like you might want to like approach it like that and don't call yourself certain things are out, but you're not going to be telling me, dictating to me that that's what I am because it's hurtful and it don't make sense and it's not true. So
I think that's really important. The
I
free
respect free
aspect,
will.
isn't it? It's the free will aspect. It's like this should be a co-creating and free will universe, but we cannot lie to ourselves that that's not what we've lived. Or if we have manifested this hell realm for ourselves, it is because we have been deceived. Because it's like when we're talking, I can hear all these different people's like, do you know what I mean? Like what you'd call it, perspectives. I can hear all the perspectives that I've heard on this planet in my mind when we're chatting. And I feel more like you, Kyla. It's like, um, I've never tried to tamper in someone's free will, but we do have a bit of a task ahead of us because people are trying to tamper in people's free will. And like you said, we have to take responsibility for,
We do.
you're not going to tamper with my free will, so which means I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep speaking. I can't ask for I can't even ask for you to welcome me anymore with my voice and me welcome you and us sit together because you're showing me that you've chosen your so-called free will or you're under mind control and you're not doing that. But I want to do it, so I will do it.
And that's something that they really uncomfortable with. I mean, I remember when I said what to this one woman, I'd not met her, but she was on my Facebook. She was liking every single post, and then I said what I one. She started shutting me down because I was talking about I felt sad about something, and about massive things going on, obviously in the world and that, and locally, and she just basically started saying, well, giving me an interpretation of how I should feel coming into my comments. I mean, I don't do that to people. And as soon as I said, that's not helpful, 3 years she'd been liking every single post, respecting every word that's come out of my fucking mouth. And then as soon as I've said, that's not helpful at this time, blocks me, deletes and blocks me because they can't talk. They haven't built that strength inside them to withstand an uncomfortable conversation, have respect for the other person or themselves, but yet they're totally healed. So they just can't talk, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. And I'm not even trying to diss them, I'm just saying, you're not where you think you are. The world is still burning. Kids are being trafficked around. We don't have access. We don't have freedom.
Mm.
As we've got a legal system that can make a lie up tomorrow and take your kids off you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Sorry, I go into massive stories, me, don't I? That's what I mean. That's what I was saying to you. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying in a nutshell.
well, of
Why
course.
are you pretending you're free? Can't you see that we're not?
But
It's not
that,
safe.
yeah, it's not
And
safe. I mean,
yeah,
this
in a nutshell.
the weirdest thing is like in my heart's desire, I would want to be with other people that call themselves highly awakened or ascensiony this or new earth that. Why can't we all sit down and talk about these things as well? You and I spoke about this the other day. You know, if you're so convinced of the light has won and that
Yeah,
it's a done deal, this higher dimensional experience that we're all going to be going into because this game's over, why
yeah.
can't we speak about the stuff that's still going on? Why do we pretend that it's, I don't know, in another realm? Because it isn't. It's actually,
I think they're so hooked on that teaching from that movie that talked about that secret, which is it's so powerful. What it's done is that if you talk about negative, you get more of it, and that is just
mm,
obviously it's bullshit. And but at the same time, it has got truths to it. But you don't. It's like just eating bananas for the rest of your life. You're not going to do that. You
yeah,
like you need to like come back a bit, and things change all the time in life. So you
yeah,
don't just take one sentence and run with it for the rest of your life and never put it in its
yeah, like the
um,
slogans.
you can't just run with the same slogan constantly because things change all the time.
Yeah,
And people's got different needs
absolutely.
in
And
every single moment. In
that's it.
every moment. So how can you just run with it? So it's just a program, I think, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons.
I think yeah, it is just a program. You're right. I mean, when we meet again, Kyla, now that you've mentioned it, I think it's really worth us talking about like the court system because that is the
Yeah.
most. I mean, it's ludicrous. But if we take the whole thing like it's, let's pretend like this whole Matrix is a game. That's what some spiritual people say. It's been a game. Well, it's been a really fucking unpleasant game. It's full of torture, torment, and suffering. I've not
Exactly.
enjoyed the game, guys, so don't want to play anymore. But at the same time, how on earth can people say that we live in a free realm when we have, like you said, a court system, a legal system, a money system,
Yeah.
all the poisoning and experimentation upon the bodies from the health system or whatever it is, blah, blah, blah.
All
Um,
of it, all the arms of it, yeah.
all the arms of it. And, my heart's desire is that we will see the reality where we can actually speak about reality. I mean, nobody seems to mind
Crazy.
repeating myself at the moment, saying things like,
Sorry.
I'm going to a festival and I'm doing, and it's called blah, blah, loving blah, blahs. And
Oh, yeah.
here's my so it's like we do know how to use the human voice already.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and it is to me, it's the most powerful thing we've got on this planet for changing this game that everyone seems to call it. We can really change this game by speaking upon the reality that we see.
It sounds so simple though, doesn't it?
It sounds so simple, but it's just
But the simple stuff is usually the best stuff.
yeah, it's child heart. Yeah,
Yeah. It's very straight up, like, and they're just skipping over it and outsourcing. And like you said, we've got it here. Like, there's this one of my friends, a male friend, messaged me just not long ago, literally an hour ago, saying he told me it was about something that's happened recently, like in the world, and I didn't know about it. I was like, all right. And I, and he says, when I see out like this, I think about you. And I was like messing about saying, haha, number one conspiracy theorist me, on about me. And then he said, let me just read it out because it'll be easier. This is what
yeah,
he said to me an hour ago about, and it just relates to what we're talking about. One second. He said when he sent me the article of it, and I said I'm number one conspiracy theorist, and he said, I just want to say, just a second, sorry, does make sense. So sorry, 1 second.
There's something new that he discovered that he
Can't
didn't.
find it. Yeah, sorry. He basically said,
Yeah, give me the rough resume of it then.
I wanted to read his exact words. I can't find it. It's like it's gone. That's right weird. I think it's gone. Oh God. Yeah, but sorry. I don't know where it's gone because he's literally just said it to me and it's not there. Unless he's deleted it, but he's basically said, I've got so much that I want to speak about on this, but I feel like they'll come for me.
Yeah.
So, and he's saying that serious, and the fact I can't see it in that it's a very small WhatsApp that he's just literally sent me, and now I can't see it. His answer. Oh no, sorry, I can't. It's me being blind. He went, I don't air it as much because I worry they'll come for me with a laughing face, and I said, I know that's what happens when gangsters operate this cult. So I'm just trying to say that even so, I am a grown man, don't talk about it because he thinks someone's going to come for him. And I know that sounds, I don't even think that sounds conspiracy theorist-ish anymore because a lot of people are killed and stuff for speaking out. We see it all the time with certain people.
Yeah. I mean, this is massive because
God, I don't know.
My personal experience of the last 3 years was that I actually went through that internally without anything actually happening to me, which hints to me that part of it is a program and part of it is real, because it definitely happens and it's definitely still happening. But it's like, when are we, I don't mean to sound like, well, I don't know how I'm going to sound, but it's like, when are we going to say, let's not waste this incarnation, and we're going to have to overcome that bit as well and speak out regardless? Because I actually do think since 2020, it's all on our side now. That's how I feel it. And I don't mean that to be fake positive. But I think we've been given this one chance. We've got this one chance. With the fake killer plague story, it was like, right, Team Human, do you want to change the game? Yes or no? And it's yes, because like you said, it's that fear is real because we know it happens.
Yeah.
That fear is real. And I had my own version of that for 3 years, of feeling like, if I use my voice to talk about a fake killer plague and that now I've lost all my work and I won't go along with their bullshit and what's going to happen? Am I going to be arrested? Will I be arrested? Or will I be hanged or drowned? Or what are they, the gangsters, going to do, like you said, Kyla?
Exactly. I mean, just today as well, just to add to that, how sad another man who I don't know in person, but he's from local, and I don't need to put his name on, but this is what I read from him today. Today's the day I got sent down 8 years ago. And I've stayed out since. Don't chat about people can't change because I did. And he's put it publicly, so it's not like he don't want it heard. Then he said, people always ask why I'm so chill. So he's saying he's got to prison. He got sent to prison 8 years ago. Then he's written, people always ask why I'm so chill. The simple answer to that is I'm not, laughing Ed. I'm always angry. The slightest thing pisses me off. I could easily snap and do another sentence, but I won't. Do you want to know why? He said it's not worth it. So I stay chill, even though I'm angry as fuck most of the time. So what I got from that is he's literally, like, more than likely, like rest of us, affected from the prison system, the open prison that we live in. And then there's that type of prison as well, like jail. But and he can't even express his anger anywhere because he fears getting arrested. Now another one is, so it's like they've got us at every turn, because if you like what I've witnessed with my own family, if you display emotion, you can be diagnosed and carted off and sectioned, which is happening to all sorts of different types of people now. They're sectioning all sorts.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
anybody now, willy-nilly, because that's all. So but basically what I'm trying to say is, like, they've got everything for us lined up to capture us, and that's why it's hard, because if you do this, you get sectioned. If you do this, you go to prison. If you speak, I don't know, you might get killed, so on. So it's like, no, I totally see why they don't want to talk, because everyone's risky. Like, they've got something for everything.
I know, but that's why I think, like, I mean, I don't know this guy whose thing you've just read out, or the
Yeah.
other one, because it's like, that's why I feel that those that are calling themselves spiritual, those that are calling themselves way showers, those that are calling themselves ascension guides, you have a responsibility, the
I
same as
think so.
us, especially to speak out whilst there are so many people that are asleep, and so many people, like you
And
said,
in
that
need,
in
with
need,
your hand.
and in fear and in need. And I mean, how much longer are we going to allow this suffering to go on? You know, 50 plus years, 53, 54 years of slavery. No
Nothing's
thanks.
changed. Yeah.
Nothing has changed. And they're so, this is our big moment, as it were. But
It
it's,
is. Right now, we've only got now. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what I think the delusion and the reframing to make things feel better in
yeah,
your own head is overpowering the real stuff that we need to get done, which might be a bit ugly. Like, say, you need to do loads of gardening or something. You need to get that done. You're not gonna look your most glamorous doing it. It's not gonna be like that.
yeah.
So, like that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, when
I
you were
think
talking about that guy, Kyla, I just wanted to be really sarcastic. You know, this poor guy that's feeling so angry, but he's going to have to repress it because
that's what he's
I
saying.
don't trust the system. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking,
He can't explain, and to be honest, he has been expressing that he is, like, like, how do I even say it without sounding so dread, but he's not really feeling this life anymore, in a nutshell.
yeah,
It could
yeah,
look there. So people are doing this on their own Facebook and that. So I can see what he's saying. I don't know him personally. He's just added me from, I think, from music scene, but
yeah,
I I don't know him personally, but I know, like, loads of men, like, and I know people are here to have their own experience. They're not here to have my experience, or my version of it. But they're clearly crying out for help, and there's nowhere to go.
I know. Can you imagine if we turned to them and said, hey, do you know what? I've seen loads of empowerment coaches on Facebook. There are some spiritual people that are on a spiritual path. They'll be able to help you with your anger. I mean, this is the thing which makes no sense at all. There's all these empowerment coaches, healers, nutritionists, all these labels that people genuinely believe they are. They
Yeah,
genuinely think they are.
genuinely. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, yes, I know we've all been professionals in the hell realm prior to
Mm.
2020, but can you imagine saying that to this guy? Don't worry, you just need an empowerment coach, at 555 an hour or whatever. It's fucking insulting. It's an
It is.
absolute disgrace to our intelligence and our
And
actual,
they don't even see it. They just think, I'm doing so well. It's like this program of, I'm doing so well and I'm contributing, but really you
yeah,
can't meet no one where they are, because either they're too negative for you, and I've experienced it myself with different people.
yeah.
They just don't want to go there. You can't be a helping hand from there.
No, and I
It's
don't,
really real, like, it's really real out here.
it's,
It
it's
is
really
really
real.
real. It's nothing to do with all this posing online, and so on. It's
And I
absolutely
really feel
nothing.
like, this might sound over simple, Kyla, but I'm glad, that you and I can speak. Well, I'm really fucking glad that we know each other, and it's a rarity. And I hope we speak more, but it's like, it's as simple as this. We cannot, as a human family of 8 billion or whatever it is, we are not going to be able to find solutions for the future until we can admit there is a giant problem.
Yeah, and
there is,
that's right. That
yeah, and it seems to me like,
but nobody wants to feel shit because
yeah,
they're already in
exactly.
turmoil. So they're
Yeah.
like, well, I'm not looking at it like that because I'm going to feel shit today.
Yeah, and it's like I think everybody feels it's not going to happen to me, and it's not going to happen to my family. My God, yes, it's awful for those humans over there, but
Yeah,
it is happening to all of us. It is happening to all
yeah.
of us,
One way or another, it
one way
gets
or
round,
another. It's
get round
not
the
just
wheel.
happening to people that, like you said, you know, have been impoverished from the beginning, from the get-go of this planet. It's not just them again.
Everybody, even the people with money, are now finding that they're not even middle class anymore. They're struggling with the bills and that. Middle class has gone, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and it's just another one of their fake
Yeah, fake
labels on us
status.
to keep us asleep and under
Not
that
even real.
of comatose. Yeah. Kyla, we've basically got 3 minutes. So let's catch up for part 3 later and we can dig in again.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we've got nothing to lose as humanity. We've got nothing to lose. We've already not had anything. We've already lost everything before we
yeah.
were incarnated.
Yeah. Total torture, and it still is. The fact that they can just rock up, take your house, take your money, take your kids. You're not safe. You don't want your kid to go outside. You're safe. They're going to get different programs going into their head. Honestly, I heard a story yesterday about that.
Yeah.
End of the day, if your kids aren't safe, then why are people pretending that everything's all good and they way showing and
Oh my God.
or even worse? So well, I'm not. I'm too enlightened that I'm not going to have kids.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm beyond that and whatever, man. It's just ed games. I
I
don't
really
know
like
what
it.
that lot sounded like, but yeah.
No, I really like what you said there. It's really important, just before we close, it's like it's insane that our children are not safe here and nor are
They're
we.
not. And
So
neither were we when we were kids.
yeah, and we still aren't. And so how can people be
No,
something?
it's not safe at the end. That is and it's like, why? And why can't we look at that? And every time we try and talk about it, they're just trying to stop us, but we're carrying on.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
haven't got any other choice. I mean,
No, we
obviously,
haven't.
we need our kids and that um, to not be dealing with this. So,
Yeah. It's kinder to speak upon reality than to pretend it's something else. I think we make more
yeah,
contribution by doing that, even if we can't solve it right now. So
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Well, I'm really grateful we met, Kyla. I'm really glad that we don't mince it and also that we don't have to be the same. We can like bring in our own voice, our own experience without having to be a carbon copy and fit the bill.
Yeah, me too. I'm so grateful as well. I'm so happy about our friendship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
it's amazing, really, isn't it? And I think that's what happens though if you go towards truth. You do find one or two people that are like that. So we must be doing something right.
Yeah. And we'll carry on. Thanks, Kyla.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to you as well.
Lots of love, darling. Part 3 soon.
Yeah, yeah. Just update me, and we will go on to that what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Kyla.
Thank you. See you
See
soon. Bye.
you, darling. Bye.